Hello, how are you? Today I want to talk about defining a mistake and share with you some ideas on how someone like yourself can really extract the most value from them and therefore get the most value in your own life. Uh, Now, before I begin, down below there's a link in that description. Boop, boop. And if you do click on it, there's actually a training on what I believe to be the most important skill someone can learn if they want to market or sell some type of a service or product online. Now, one of the things that I'm a big believer in, the good philosophy that I like to, you know, tell myself is to go on the offense in life. And what that means is anytime you're negative, you're pondering, you're complaining, overthinking, which is a classic thing nowadays because there's so much damn information everywhere, you're kind of going on the defense. And the way to go on the offense is actually really just to do shit. It's like action based. Okay? That's what produces results. Thinking about shit forever, well, or debating it or pondering it, does it help? I don't know. Maybe a little bit, but to me, action really speaks. And sure, you can learn from other people's experiences. That's where books come in, knowledge, uh, you know, talking to people, and there's definitely value in that. So I'm a big believer in sharpening the saw, right? Before you cut down, like the Abe Lincoln quote. If he had to cut down a tree, he'd spend 90% of the time sharpening the saw. So there's definitely a lot of good with that. But when it comes to like say online marketing, you have to kind of do things. I'm a big believer in fire first and aim second philosophy. Uh, all right, so I was listening to another marketer, and he told me this one example which I like, and that is the 50-50 ratio. You learn 50% of it, and then you do the other 50 of work. And he actually takes more actions, like 70-30. And I think that's a really good way of looking at it. You want to always be learning, but you always want to be doing. Because ideas, they're nothing without execution, okay? I think a big problem nowadays is overthinking shit. Yeah, it slows people down. It really does. I wonder if this will work. Let's debate it. Let's talk about it. No, the only way to know is to do it. So it's almost like you have to make mistakes in order to know if something will work or not. But in order to know if it worked, is you got to try it. So it's like a mistake is seeing when something doesn't work and you think it might. If it doesn't work, that's a mistake. If it does, then it's success. That's one way of looking at it. And there's also maybe just being a bonehead and not paying attention and fucking up, and then, well, whatever. That's a mistake. What do you think, huh? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments. I really like this saying, whoever experiments in life the most wins, because there's one big experiment. Uh, and if you go through the school system and you have a job most of your life, guess how you're going to look at mistakes? Yeah, if you go to school, you make a mistake, you get a bad grade, F. If you go to a job, you make a mistake, usually you could get fired. I've definitely gotten fired from a few jobs. So many people are trained and they look at mistakes as bad. And I really do think that does hold a lot of people back. What do you think, huh? Is that true? I just finished reading Ray's book, Ray Dalio. He's like a hedge fund manager worth, only 17, 18 billion dollars. Uh, yeah, only, right? Holy crap. And he has a good way of looking at mistakes in his book. He mentions that he learned that there's a credible beauty to making mistakes. Because embedded in each mistake is a puzzle and a gem that he can get if he solved it. A principle that he could use to reduce his mistakes in the future so he could learn from it. So I'll share, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, a shitload. Hell, I got, like a couple months ago, I got kicked out of the entire country. Ended up in a jail cell in Cambodia. There's some mistakes I made there. But it's all learning. And another mistake I made just recently is actually with, this table just annoying the crap out of me. Okay, there you go. I'm complaining, right? All right, this is actually way more comfortable for me because every time I hit this little table, it shakes. I'm like, oh crap. All right, so back to what I was saying. Oh yeah, mistakes. Uh, I shared a mistake I made recently, and that's with Facebook and Instagram. And I didn't know this was going to work or not. And that was just DMing people, like just like talking to people. And I learned that with Facebook, if you DM too many people, if you just message a bunch of people, they will actually like ban your account. They'll kick you off. So it's not really a good idea. Facebook is really, really strict. They definitely got us in trouble lately too. Uh, and the thing with Instagram is you can do it. They're a lot less strict. Instagram is, even though it's owned by Facebook, but there's a spam filter that hits, and it's just I just felt that it wasn't the best way to communicate with people because the messages is more like, uh, well, it's more private and usually some guy picking up on some girl because she's got a hot picture or something. I don't know. So I just didn't feel the best way of doing it. So I learned that, okay? But the only way to know that is to do it, really. Uh, so to me, I'm actually the only way I look at mistakes is I'm actually kind of almost proud of making mistakes. I almost brag about them. If that's good. I don't know if that's bad or not. And I try to use them to my advantage. I'll give you an example of this real quick. I made a big mistake because I worked my ass off and with an old YouTube channel, and I grew it pretty successfully. Got well over 2 million views with that damn thing. But the big mistake that I made was I couldn't sell, and so I didn't really make that much money. And that kind of hurts when you do a lot of work and nothing comes out of it. So what I do is I use that to my advantage and I talk about it a lot and I share to other people, hey, don't do what I did. Learn from my mistake. And I try to use that to, well, other people's advantage as well as my own advantage. Uh, Another great saying I like is turn a problem into a money-making opportunity. I'm a big believer in that, and there's a lot of examples of that. But one thing I didn't notice when I was in Cambodia, and I mentioned this to one of my friends over there that lives over there, is it's very hard to find a ATM machine. There's like really not that many of them. So believe it or not, you can buy ATM machines and make money off of them. So that's just one example of turning a problem into a money-making opportunity. Having people on Shark Tank going, well, shit, I wish I had this product. Whoa, boop, I'll create it. And they create it, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? All right. So you can really turn positives into negatives, and I'm a big believer in that. I really like that. And look at Cambodia, right? I mean, shit, with Popet, like destroying. They got the killing fields, a torture museum. So what they do? That's the horriblest shit there is. They actually make money off that stuff. Isn't that fascinating? It's like, oh, that talk about turning a negative into a positive, really. People wrote books about their experiences. Maybe I should write a book about my jail experience. The funny thing of that jail is some guy thought I stole his toothpaste, and I was like, oh, this is the part we're gonna start fighting over toothpaste. That's when you know things are bad. I think he was missing a few teeth too. Anyways, all right, back to what I was saying. So another way of looking at it is most people believe that learning that we are taught is the path to success. I mean, think about school, right? If you learned what the teacher wanted you to learn, you memorized it, you got an A. If you didn't, then you got a failing grade. Uh, Ray believes, I think this is completely true, one of his big principles or philosophies, is figuring out for yourself what you want. And getting it is a better path. Almost like marching your own drum beat. Don't always do what other people want you to do. In fact, I read another book a while back ago about the biggest regrets in life. And the number one regret, what do you think it is that people have? Yeah, basically living a life based on what others want them to do, not what they want to do. It's a big regret. So that makes complete sense to me, and that's a big motivator for me is regret. Well, shit, I don't want to that sucks. All right. All right. And most people believe that having answers is better than having questions. And Ray, he thinks it's the opposite. It's better to have questions because it leads to more learning. So questions are really good. Even the right questions to ask. Yeah, I definitely believe that. Even to yourself, asking the right questions. You can't if you say something like, "Why does nobody like me?" Your mind will come with the answers because you're a loser. No, that's not good. So you get to ask yourself the right questions, right? Uh, or I don't know. Gotta make a whole video on questions, but it is powerful. I think Tony Robbins says there's a lot of power in questions. He's a big believer in that. I think there's a lot of truth to that. But yeah, even asking questions in your own life and being curious is really good. Um, yeah, always learning, being curious how things work, curious how to get what you want. More positive, right? I gotta stop that. I just, I don't know where that came from. Uh, all right, another thing I want to touch base on is while most others believe that finding out about one's weaknesses is bad, Ray Dalio believes that's a good thing because it's the first step to finding out what to do about them and not letting them stand in your way, showing them up. It really comes out of knowing yourself, knowing what you're good at, knowing what you're bad at, stuff like that. It's a really powerful thing too. Anyways, so I hope you really enjoyed this content. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button. You can also share it too if you want. Uh, and if you're interested in marketing online, don't do what I did. Learn some very valuable skills from some experts before you get out there. You'll shorten your path to success. It's hugely valuable, so I can't recommend it enough. And if you want to learn more, just click the link below. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.